Hey there, are you a realtor? Are you a seller? Are you thinking about really selling your house, but you're feeling stuck? That house is on the market, it's not moving. You're wanting to know, did I make the right decision? Did I list with the right agent? What is going on? So if your home is sitting on the market with little or no interest, you have it, priced right, staged right, you're not alone. And you're not stuck. So today what we're going to do is really unpack what's going on with the real estate market. Right now, we are in July 2025, and this is an episode of Teach Me Tuesday that's going to talk all about what's going on in the market today and how we can help you get your home sold. So, all right, guys, let's just talk about it. So let's just start it off. I mean, right now, how long have you been in your house?
That's a good question. I think it's probably 8 years now. I think.
Would you sell your house right now? Would you sell it?
Would I sell it? That's a loaded question. You gonna ask a realtor that?
I'm
So
asking a realtor, would you sell your house?
On the spot.
could I would
Okay.
I would right, but do I want to? No.
Mm.
All right. So it's like I I would sell my house right now. I think it's a good. Well, I think I got a good house to sell. First of all, that's the
Well, that's
first
that's
thing.
that's good. That's good to
Yeah,
Mm.
say. Gavin,
yeah.
same question. Would you sell your house today? Knowing what you know, being the expert that you are, would you sell your house right now?
I mean, now don't get me wrong. See, mine is different. Yes, I would want to sell my house, but no, I won't sell my house right now. I'll tell you why.
Mm,
Because I mean, if it's flat out, I can't get a 2.75 interest rate in today's
This
market.
is true. This is true.
I can't.
This is
I like a payment. Under $2,000. It is what it is. So right now, for me, no, there's no selling. But yes, I would want to because I got a lot of equity in our house right now.
Well,
And
right.
let's talk about it because I'm pretty sure. I mean, I'm woman. I know you probably get this all the time, and just
Mm,
like me scrolling through Facebook, me scrolling just on different social media platforms. I mean, people think that people are either waiting for the market to crash or they think that we're currently in a crash. I don't know, right? I don't even think that that's really what's going on right now, right? Would you kind of define, or would you guys kind of define like what we're seeing and just I guess it's a bit of a slowness, right? It's different than what it has been before, and the pace has been a lot, differently as well. But I mean, we're not in a crash, right?
no, no. I just think we're seeing a softening of the market. Okay. And when I say that, I literally had this conversation yesterday with an investor that's looking to invest, and the thing about it is, I told him, prices are dropping slightly. And it's always, and me and Gavin talk about this all the time. It's a supply demand thing going on where buyers have more options right now. It's a lot more options out there for buyers. They can shop around. They can be a little picky. I
Yeah.
don't like that porch on that house. I don't care for the floors in that house. So they're trying to get the most bang for their buck, and sellers are negotiating more, and so it's a softer market for or right now. That's pretty much what I'm noticing in the market. Hmm.
yeah, so I think exactly what you're saying. So it's not to answer your question. So the market ain't crash. We're not in a crash or
Hmm.
anything. I mean, you got some sellers who out there feeling like it's a crash because their house ain't
But
moving.
I guess why would people think that we're in a crash? Like, I guess what would in their mind, if I had to put myself in the shoes of, someone on the sideline, trying to wait and see when they're going to jump into this market, like in their mind, what do they feel as a crash when they see a bunch of houses in foreclosure, when they,
I think yeah. I mean, I think it's a combination of things. I mean, they first of all, first and foremost, I think it's experiences that others have had in recent
mm,
years that
yeah.
they think they should have. I think
Mm,
people get influenced by what their friends and family and previous people have done in previous years, and think that same thing still applies to them today. So right now, you got people that are thinking about home prices from 2021, what those expectations and stuff was when the peak of COVID was around, and what kind of demand that brought about. And they're thinking that, what, there were homes that were selling, just as is. No one was negotiating, fixing this up or fixing that up or updating this. Everyone was just buying houses because there were so few on the market. Now that the market's been a little bit more saturated with homes that have been sitting now, you know what? Guess what? Buyers can be more pickier. They can say, I don't really feel like updating the bathroom, and your house doesn't have that. So, this is not the one for me, or I'm not going to buy it at this price point that you have listed. So, there's a combination of things. And then also, you can't forget about interest rates. People want to act, in their mind, they think the interest rates are just, ridiculous, which they aren't, but they aren't as low as what we were spoiled with in the previous, 3 to 4 or 5 years. But interest rates are stabilized. It's at a norm right now, guys. It's between 6 and 7%. There are opportunities out there where you can get lower interest rates, not significantly lower, but here we are, 6 and 7%. That's where we are today.
Yeah, so let's answer some questions here. So one of the questions that we got from Brian, he wanted to know, like, how would a person know how much equity they have in their home, right? Mm-hmm. Because we say the word equity, but do people really understand, how much equity they really have? And so the easy answer to that question, Brian, is that you would know how much equity you have in your home based on what you currently owe. So you would just look at your most recent mortgage statement and kind of see what your most recent balance is, based on also what your home would potentially sell for. You can kind of, I like to, Google the Zestimate of my house from time to time, and that will give you a really good idea. Or you can ask a great real estate agent, like, hey, tell me what you think my house is worth, and just pretty much taking what you owe and subtracting it from what that house is worth. And that difference, equals your equity, right? And with equity, there's so much that you can do. Some people use their equity to either pay off debt. They may use it to do renovations. They may use it to do whatever their heart may desire at that time. In addition to kind of what you were just hitting on as well, Gavin, I think people expectations right now is so crazy how short term and short viewed, we can be sometimes, even though 2021 doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but it was truly 4 years ago, and people are still stuck in the mindset and have the expectations of COVID, right? Because they saw these 2 and 3% interest rates. They saw the overbidding of houses. They saw that they had the upper hand as far as sellers did when it came to, what they were willing to do and not willing to do. And now they don't have that anymore. So as a seller, Wilman, I'm pretty sure as you pretty much have a good bit of listings, I guess you have to kind of have those conversations with your sellers too about, well, what are you willing to do? Because if they're not willing to necessarily, fix the floors or fix the roof or stage the house appropriately, then I'm pretty sure price is going to play a big part in that, right?
Right. That's like the number one, to be honest, overpriced homes.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, the number one cause for your house to sit and not sell. And that's just something as a realtor we deal with sellers that, and don't get me wrong, you love your house, and I totally get it. And I one of the conversations I recently had with a seller was, I told him, say, hey, I'm going to do my numbers. You have your number, right? I'm going to do my numbers. Once I do my numbers, I'm going to show you what homes like yours have sold. Let's let the numbers do the talking, not what you feel your house is worth. Okay. So I think that's the biggest thing. We have to maybe humble, some sellers may have to humble themselves with some of their property values. And then there's some sellers, to be honest with you, I just left a listing appointment. She was looking on Zillow, and Zillow had it priced at a certain amount. And I told her, I said, well, let me come and take a look at it. Some of the things Zillow doesn't take in consideration is all of the things that you have on the property, right? Like your 2 acres, like your big garage that you have, like that nice deck you put on the back of your home, some upgrades you put in your house. Zillow doesn't do all that. But as your realtor, we come out, we consider all of those things, and I think that her home will be higher in value compared to the Zillow estimate that you might see on Zillow. But for a quick fix, you can possibly use that. But if you're looking for something more accurate, you might want to contact your real estate professional.
Right.
So what I heard was I was talking to a mastermind group that I do in the morning with a group of realtors and a couple lenders on there. And so one of the things this one realtor said was that that the buyer kind of pretty much picks the price of the house based on, you know, the value that they deem worthy, right? So like if you're truly thinking about, you know, is this, I think I hear that a lot, man, this house ain't worth this amount of money, or this house is worth, right? And I guess the value of worth is based on the eye of the beholder, right? So I guess as a seller, as a realtor, as a potential buyer, like how do you really know it? Are you willing to pay what they're asking, and at what point do you make those adjustments to try to get the house sold or get the house bought? I think that's probably the most challenging gamble.
Right, I can see what that realtor probably was saying with that. I get it, but it just depends on the buyer. Okay, that particular buyer might not be the house for them, you know. But also, I will say this: if they're questioning the value of the property, ask your realtor to do a CMA for you, a comparative market analysis, so you can see whether or not that pricing is accurate. I've been out to houses, and especially if your realtor is very familiar with that area, they know when a home is overpriced and when a house is underpriced. Recently had a situation, had that same conversation. Oh man, you know, this house price how much? I don't think so. I don't think it's worth that. So when I start running the numbers and running the comps for them, I said, man, this is really an actual deal in this neighborhood. Look at what all these other homes sold for compared to this one. If you bought it, you would probably have equity right after you purchased the house, you know. So, and they ended up moving forward. They trusted their agent, you know. They moved forward. Come to find out, they had probably over $40,000-$50,000 in equity in the house. So talk with your real estate professional so that they can kind of, you know, help you make a sound decision when it comes to values.
Yeah, that's good stuff. I think how we were talking about just the whole overpricing thing. Men lie, women lie, numbers don't.
Like
that right, bro?
Numbers don't lie to me, dog.
You know, hey, who reminded me of that? Shout out to Weezy Wee, Lil Wayne. Hey, I gotta give credit.
I don't know if they know about old Lil Wayne.
Yeah, we gonna go there. We ain't gonna go there. But no, seriously though, people don't even think about, like, when it comes to the pricing, underpricing or overpricing, like just with how there's so many tools and resources when you have savvier shoppers out there. I mean, even if the home is overpriced 10, 15,000, you know, that can be a deterrent. That can, you know, you putting your house out there to test the waters and say, hey, you know what, let's start out high. Let's start out to see, you know, if we get any bites, and then let's reduce it, you know, as time goes on. Well, that could be a poor strategy, because you know what, Johnny down the street, guess what? He's going to price his house to sale. And now that potential buyer that has the same house, same floor plan, or whatever, or same comparable to your home, has priced his home right, and has done things like presented it well, put out good pictures. You know, the pictures look phenomenal. People buy by their, you know, shoppers are now buying by what they see online. You know, and then they're going out to go, you know, to put their eyes on it. But if you're not presenting your home in the best capacity that you can, yeah, I mean, that price, that $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 that you overpriced your home to see if you're getting the bites, the pictures don't support it. You gotta be careful with that.
Absolutely, man. Gavin, you hit on something. Well, it just depends on the goal of the seller too. I want to hit on that. Like some sellers are, their goals are different. Some sellers like, hey man, I want to be gone in 30 days. I want to be, well, all right. Well, let's make sure our pricing is competitive out there so that we can get you the most bang for your buck, but also get it sold in the amount of time that you need it sold. So it's a lot of factors we take in. But if you have a seller that's like, hey man, hey, I don't care if it's sale. I want the most I can get for it. And they might price it up, and that's just what they want. So like it just depends on their goals and what they want, man.
So a couple things came to mind as y'all was talking,
Mhm.
because I've seen this a lot, especially here in the Charleston Tri-County area, the Low Country here. So what's happening here, like gentrification is real, right? And so what's happening in our area is like when I grew up in Charleston, I grew up in North Charleston, and so some of the most undesirable areas near Park Circle, closer to downtown, like you wouldn't be caught dead buying or living there. But now these areas are being gentrified and they are up and coming, and you can buy a 2 bedroom, 1 bath, 800 square feet house in Park Circle for almost a $500,000. And so people are buying these things, right? But majority of the people that are buying them are either the ones that can kind of see, I call it like they can kind of like project the future. They see what it's becoming, not what it is today. Right.
Mhm.
And so that buyer has to sometimes, exactly what you were saying, like train your eyes to think about the strategy of real estate and what you can get beyond, what you may see now versus in the future. That same little house may be worth probably double that because it's becoming more desirable in the area that it's in. My next point that I wanted to think about too is what I've seen a lot of challenges when it comes to homes trying to sell, and people feeling stuck in their listing isn't moving, or the seller hasn't been able to truly sell the property, is
Mhm.
competing against new construction. And
Yeah.
so how do you really handle that, right? When you
Mhm.
have a very similar size house, age may differ maybe by a couple years to 5 years or so, but it's new construction. Builders are offering crazy incentives. You get all your warranties. It's new, but you got a listing a couple houses down from where they're building something new. So how do you navigate that? I know that can be tough because most people are going to probably gravitate to the new, but how do you convince them or try to, truly educate them on really considering pre-existing as well?
Yeah,
And you got that.
resale.
Mhm.
So I will say this, that you try to highlight all of the perks of a resale house, right?
Mhm.
Compared to a new construction. Typically, new construction, you're gonna buy a smaller house, but
Mhm.
it's less square footage, right? That's typically the case. And also with resale homes, you typically get more land than you would get with new construction in a subdivision with HOAs and things of that nature. So it's like when you highlight all of those things
Mhm.
that would be considered benefits, right? No HOA, guys. We getting you more square footage over here. Home is like new with updates. It's different things like that you can utilize to kind of promote the property, to help it sell compared to a new construction home. Which, don't get me wrong, there are pros with those too. But
Right.
I know some clients, particularly, they don't, price point wise. That's a different beast. But also just knowing that a lot of people don't like you know some of the new builds. They don't like the openness of a new build. They
Right.
want
Yeah.
they want the home to have some intimacy and some, walls here and there. So
And,
yeah.
and most resales, your areas are already developed. So you don't have to worry about waiting for stuff to come around the new area of a new construction home.
Mm,
The area being built up. Most
mm,
resales, those areas have already been built up, or the
established.
plans are closer than what it
Yeah,
would be in the new area. So
absolutely.
Well, guys, I can't believe we're almost at 20 minutes. It really went by fast. This was
It
such a
did.
great topic. But
Yeah.
just to wrap up real quick, just know that the market isn't against any of us, right?
Mm.
To me, the word is strategy. I did a home buyer seminar this past weekend, and that was one of the things I kept pushing is that you have to have the mindset and you have to have a strategy in today's market to really understand how to best penetrate and leverage what market we're in today. So once
Yeah.
again, guys, this is Teach Me Tuesday. Definitely reach out to any one of us if we can answer any questions for you guys. And we hope you guys have a great week.
Yeah, appreciate y'all.
Appreciate y'all.